Toxic truth behind wellness influencers. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is very important to address on YouTube and on other social platforms, and it is this kind of like glamorous, perfect portrayal of health and wellness by like wellness influencers, and the fact that it can actually be very harmful and toxic to viewers. So I'm not gonna do a long intro, we're gonna jump right in with misinformation without consequence. It's absolutely crazy how many influencers are spreading terrible, fake, unscientific advice and absolutely not facing any consequences for it, even if they are literally endangering people. A lot of the advice that I see like health influencers promote is unhealthy. It's going to be telling you to go on like detox cleanses and drink only like green juice for a certain period of time and eat like under 1,000 calories but have a cheat meal on the weekend, or just like eat one meal a day and make sure that you're eating tons of butter and meat, but absolutely no whole grains or fruit. Some people just like openly disregard the scientific consensus and like general medical advice, and the only thing that they fall back on to justify that is their own experience. But that is just like anecdotal evidence. It is not sufficient to promote to thousands, millions potentially of viewers. It's also really dangerous in the health realm because you're going to be finding influencers who are like bashing vaccines and telling people not to get them, and they're going to make you feel like you lack critical thinking skills because you're just like blindly following doctors and scientists with PhDs who have studied the issue for years and years and who actively continue to pursue research in the field. And then on the other side of that, you have the influencers who have done their research by reading a blog post. And in the nutrition space, you're also going to have people claiming that you do not need like medical help if you have certain diseases like cancer, for instance, and that you can just cure it with your diet. Like, you know, with like a raw foods diet, you can just like cure cancer. Or if you like cut out sugar entirely, you can cure cancer. And again, that is very, very dangerous. And these influencers, by promoting that message, are really quite literally putting people's health at risk. And again, like, I'm the first one to say that your nutrition has a huge impact on your body and on your health, and it can absolutely be a great ally, but it does not replace like conventional medicine. It only needs to be there to support and help, and you can't go like replacing it. That's too dangerous. And the reason why people just listen to them and keep on following their advice is because their credentials are their appearance. Most of these wellness influencers that are spreading harmful messages or at least like misinformation don't have any qualifications. They don't have scientific background at all. And a lot of them just started showing what they eat or how they exercise and stuff like that. And people became interested and they kind of like went down that path, but they don't have knowledge in biology or nutrition or health or anything like that. So the credentials that these people have is just limited to their appearance and the fact they have a body type that fits within society's standards of what is deemed as healthy, and they are thin, they are fit. And a lot of them also, the fame factor comes into play as well. Like if somebody is a celebrity, kind of no matter what they look like, you're gonna want to listen to what they say. But a very big problem is that a lot of these people look healthy, sure, but they aren't really that healthy, in fact, because their focus is on the aesthetics of wellness rather than actual health. And again, when you're thin, then you can get away with pretty much anything and people will believe it. I've seen so many very thin, very healthy looking people have terrible diets and just eat like 1,000 calories of like pizza and Coke a day, or just have like one meal during the day and then skip all the other ones. But the problem is that you're gonna have these regular people who are actually doing the right things to be healthy and lose weight and like be fit. They're going to be trying to eat balanced meals, and they're going to be trying to go to the gym, trying to sleep more, and doing these things in a way that is balanced, like not excessively throughout the day or anything like that. But they're going to see that they're not going to be getting the same results, again, because a lot of these results from these influencers are just like genetics, or having like 8 hours a day to dedicate to that when other people don't. And so when you're more focused on the aesthetics of wellness rather than actual health, then you're going to go for like being thin at all costs, no matter how many like calories, how low in calories your diet is going to be. Even if that's like not good for your body, that's fine, because you're going to end up thin, and you're really chasing the aesthetics more than the health factor. So these influencers will have regular people literally chasing perfection. So many influencers just portray this perfect, impeccable, glamorous lifestyle that is just like unachievable for most regular people. And this kind of portrayal can leave you feeling defeated and like you're not enough, and like no effort is worth doing, because it's never going to measure up to what other people are doing. Everything about these people's lifestyles is excessive, and it's totally unrealistic for people who don't make that much money to follow. So it's just gonna create frustration. People are gonna go into this rat race where they're gonna be like, okay, I need to buy all of these products so I can look like this person, this influencer. So they buy these products, but then they don't have like the means financially to do so. And then they're gonna be stressed and do like a side hustle to get more money, because influencers say that, oh, you shouldn't waste your time. You should get up at 5 and go to bed at midnight and just hustle throughout the day. And so people are gonna do that. And there's also this big pressure that you need to be doing things perfectly, or else they're not worth doing at all. So you have wellness influencers portraying this perfect life where they go into their huge spotless kitchen and open their like humongous fridge filled with tons and tons of colorful foods, and then they make their smoothie with a bunch of different protein powders and collagen powders and like spirulina. Then they have multiple hours to make a long, delicious home-cooked breakfast for themselves. And now you're watching that and you're thinking, well, I make myself a smoothie, but there's just like a banana and milk in it, so it's probably not good enough because I'm not adding all these like microgreens and collagen and stuff like that. So is it even worth it to spend time doing that? Fitness content is often very excessive as well. You're going to see people wake up at 5 a.m. and put on a like matching gym outfit and then go to their luxury gym and work out for like 2 hours and then have an expensive protein shake and green juice. And you're just gonna sit here and feel like, well, is it even worth it for me to ride my bike 3 times a week? Like, it's not really, it doesn't measure up to all these things that they're doing. So what's even the point? And one could argue that they're not telling you that what you're doing isn't enough. They're just showing you what they're doing. And we're going to talk more about that later on. But I did want to say that a lot of them actually do point out that you're probably not doing enough. And I see this a lot with things like organic foods. You're gonna have influencers saying, oh, I eat like this organic and that organic and whatever. And if you're not eating organic, then that's bad. And so the problem is that you're going to have people who already don't have a lot of time and don't have a lot of means who are buying fruit and vegetables, and now they're going to see this video and be like, oh no, I'm not getting organic, that's bad for me. And so they're going to stop buying fruit and veggies altogether, or they're going to waste their hard-earned money that they already don't have a lot of on overpriced supplements and stuff like that. One size doesn't fit all. Another huge issue with the advice that these influencers are giving is that it kind of assumes that if you do everything that they're doing, then you're gonna be like them, and that everything that works for them is also gonna work for you. But that's absolutely not true. We are all unique. We all have our own individual needs and our own like past history with health, nutrition, and all of that. The problem is when you're seeing these influencers who have like tons of money and like a huge house and like tons of friends and like go on luxury vacations and also are on a diet, like a healthy, clean diet, you're gonna see all of that, and the only thing that you're gonna be able to access from all of that is the diet, because the rest is like out of your control. And even if you go deeper within this diet aspect that you can control, I see this a lot as a nutritionist, the easiest thing within that to control is the amount of calories. Because when you think about healthy eating, there are things that actually work but will take time and effort. Like if you're eating balanced meals, making sure that you're eating enough calories and fueling yourself with mainly whole foods and have the right macros, and that you're getting mainly like quality ingredients, and that you're looking into different recipes that you actually enjoy and that satisfy you, and taking the time to eat mindfully. Like all these things are considered to be more complicated than just cutting calories. Cutting calories, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna eat like half of what I'm supposed to eat and then I'm gonna lose weight. So that's why we see so many people who watch these influencers, and since they're unable to control all the different parameters, they're just gonna stick to calorie counting and just like cutting calories immensely because that's the easiest thing to do. And people are really forgetting that the influencers that they're watching most likely have access to a personal chef who makes all their meals, and a personal trainer who helps them with their fitness goals, and somebody who helps with the chores, and they have less working hours, like shorter working hours, so they have more time to dedicate to all of that, and then they sleep better in a more comfortable environment, and so their stress levels are lower. And so there's all these parameters that you're not taking into account, and you're trying to do the same thing, applying everything that they're doing to you. Then you wonder why you're overwhelmed, why it's not working, and you end up just like giving up. A deceptive reality. It's also very important that you understand that influencers are choosing to portray a part of their lives that looks like perfect and really glamorous, but that does not, like, their entire life does not look like that. Life is about balance, and you can have moments where you're doing all these things perfectly, and that's great, but chances are you're gonna have a lot more moments when you don't. And that's fine. Again, the problem with these videos is even if they can be inspiring to some degree, they can also really make you feel like what you're doing is not enough. And again, that there's no point, because no matter what you do, you're never gonna measure up to these levels, like the level of success that these influencers have. And let me tell you, the level of fakeness in the influencing world is huge. Like, I do what I eat in a day videos and recipe videos, and I've been criticized because they don't look aesthetically pleasing. I've had people say like, that looks disgusting, or like, I would never make that, it looks ugly, like work on your presentation. And okay, I'm not gonna lie, it hurts a little bit, but also I try to remind myself that I always try to show you reality, and that you can make a balanced meal that doesn't look like restaurant worthy, but it's fine because it's still gonna give you the fuel that you need. But if you're always looking at these like beautifully elaborated, like 3-hour long meals with like a gorgeous presentation, again, that can be great for like inspiration once in a while, but for day-to-day life, you're gonna feel like you can't do that you can't reach that level of perfection. And let me tell you that even in like my what I eat in a week videos, that I try to make them as truthful and realistic as possible, I still tweak things a little bit. I absolutely remember that in my last what I eat in a week video, I came home one night and I was like, okay, I'm ordering McDonald's. I like really want McDonald's right now. Like, I need it. And then I had to be like, no, I need to film a video. You know, McDonald's is not going to give them good content. I'm just going to like whip something up. And I ended up like making something, but had I not been filming, I definitely would have gotten like fast food. And again, my brand is to be like truthful and like realistic. And I can imagine that other influencers whose brands are to be like more aesthetically pleasing, I can imagine how much fakeness and like preparation goes into that to make it seem like as appealing as it is. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that in general, because I think again, it can be like an art form to make like food look aesthetic and to do all of that, but it's just something that you really need to know. You need to understand that so that you're not comparing yourselves to these like unobtainable standards. I promise you that you are watching people show you their 5 a.m. morning routine and then they go back to bed at 9 a.m. or people making these like super balanced healthy meals and then they like throw them out and order a pizza. Please be aware of that. Am I a hypocrite? So I really wanted to end the video with this segment because of course people may like listen to everything I've said and be like, well, you're an influencer promoting like wellness and doing all of that. Like you're literally criticizing people who are doing the same thing as you. So I think it's important to understand that there's like a spectrum when it comes to influencers. Of course, there's not like a good influencer and a bad influencer, but there are people who do like the best they can to promote like positive, like helpful health messages, and others who do not. So I understand that I have the like physical credentials that I talked about earlier, that people will look at me and think, oh, I am okay with like hearing advice from her because she looks like she practices what she preaches. And the only reason why I'm okay with that, and I kind of like play off of that sometimes even, is because I know that I have the credentials to back that up. And I studied all this subject for 5-6 years, and I have a master's degree in biology specialized in nutrition and health. And I did multiple internships, and I have worked with clients for the past 4 years. So sometimes I use the codes of like wellness influencers by like showing a body pic or by trying to do like an aesthetic kind of like pleasing Instagram reel, but I do that to actually like reel people in so that they listen to my message. Another thing I really try to do, which is something you should look for when you're figuring out like which influencers to trust or not, is I try to be like very moderate in my content. I'm never gonna say like, you have to do this amazing hack and it will definitely get you these results, or never do this or else it's gonna like be the cause of like your nutrition failure. Like I try to be very moderate. I also briefly want to touch on the showing isn't telling mentality, because I know that lots of people say, well, influencers are just trying to like show people what they're doing, they're not telling people to do this. But I feel like when you have a certain amount of people following you, you know that even if you're not telling them like to do this, they're still gonna do it, they're still gonna follow you. It's just the way that things are, and I think that you have to understand your responsibility. Now, mainly like my message that I talked about in this video was for people who actively promote harmful messages. Like these are really the influencers that you need to be wary of. So the other ones, people who are just showing you their life and what they're doing, I think that they're totally fine. Like their content is totally fine to consume, but it's really important that you are aware of all the things that I just talked about so that you consume this content in like a mindful state, and you understand that there's like a lot of behind the scenes and that it does not accurately represent this person's life, and that you should not be comparing yourself to them, and that you should keep on doing stuff that works for you. And finally, of course, I am not perfect. I never claim to be, and this is not me like distancing myself from other influencers. I'm well aware that I'm considered a like micro or nano influencer, and that some people are influenced by my message, which is why I really try to carry this responsibility as best I can, and I try to create content that is helpful and that's actually gonna push people in the right direction without giving them eating disorders. But I know again that I'm not perfect because we're all human. That's it for this video. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos and other types of topics that you would like me to talk about. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.